Hello everyone, welcome to another battle report. Today it's myself versus Greg. Just some more last minute nationals practice. I'm still trying to decide on the list. I've still got no idea what I want to take yet. But this is the double Bantha, double HK Gideon 3PO list. This is something I've played with before and it works quite well, but we'll just see how we go. So my list is 2 Bantha riders, 2 regular HKs, Temporary Alliance, and Gideon and C3PO. Like I said, I've played this a few times and it's pretty solid. It's a pretty good build. Some missions it really hurts it, like this mission is probably the worst mission I could have grabbed for this list, but never mind. And Greg's list is it's a trooper deck, but it's a rebel trooper deck. So 2 squads of rebel troopers. One of them's been proxied as Wingguard. Leia, Gideon, which has been proxied as that rebel sniper. Greg's got a few things out being painted by people. I'm painting a few of these things. I really should get to it and just finish them, so he doesn't have to proxy with everything all the time. So Gideon, 3PO, classic 2 rebellion characters. Fenn. So, and I really like the synergy of this list. I haven't played against rebel troopers in a very long time. I've forgotten most of the rules, and these are elite, by the way. But that whole thing, standing still to get +2 accuracy, +1 damage, along with Fenn's ability, he can make a trooper gain assault, it's really, really powerful. It's a really good combo. Of course, you have to be stationary for it, but I guess it doesn't really matter for this one. But being this map, since we are very, very close, that on my mark, I think is what it's called, the ability the rebel troopers get to spend 2 actions to get focused and perform a full move. It's very, very good on, I think, all maps except for this one, because they can't really utilise the full potential of the move. So Greg's just been activating, activating his troopers, just trying to take that door down. I think door's on about 9 health there. I think it has 1 left. So just wants to finish it off. And all I've done is just focus with 3PO and focus with Gideon. So Gideon focused a HK and 3PO focused one of the Bantha riders. So the door's down. He scoots all of his troopers away. So Fenn's got some clear shots. So move up the Bantha rider. Yeah, this map isn't especially good for Banthas, I think. I think it's probably the worst map of the cycle for Banthas, just because there's only one entry point where I started anyway. There's only one entry point to the main, biggest chunk of the fight. And compared to other maps, both deployment zones have multiple options. This one here only has 1. You have to go out in that big hangar bay, so you can't really scoot around, which I like to do with Banthas. Put 1 up down the middle and 1 down a flank, but in this mission you can't really do that. So, excuse me. A focused up Fenn is shooting into the Bantha rider. Of course, Banthas roll no dice, so it takes a bunch of hits. I think it takes about 8 hits altogether. And I haven't seen Fenn played in a long time, but I really like Fenn. Him with troopers is a really good synergy and a good theme for a list. So the HK is moving up. All the dice for HKs. I haven't played them in a while, and I've just forgotten how useful they are. Using my targeting computer to do a reroll. I forced him to reroll, I think it was a 2, but then he rerolled to a 1. He gets a built-in surge block for 3PO and does 5 damage. And then moves back 1, then the other HK does the same thing, gets a surge block, which I'm not really that fussed about. He can keep that, and it kills Fenn in the first turn. That was very unlucky. I think Greg probably should have... He moved that trooper away from Fenn so he can get shots off on the Bantha. But it just left him wide open for HK just to zip around the corner and just pick him off. Because if he is left alive, he's a very, very annoying character to deal with. So Gideon shot, didn't have damage, but focused from a surge. So next Bantha, as you see here, there's not much room for 2 Banthas. So I really am struggling to figure out where I'm going to put these. Which is, I guess, the main problem with having dual Banthas. They take up so much real estate on the board. I guess the map isn't bad for Banthas, but where the deployment zones are, this is awful for them. So this is Leia having some more shot to the Bantha and killing it. That Bantha went down really, really quickly, but I play Of No Importance, which is, I think, is by far one of my favourite 0-point cards. Takes 2 points off when you kill it, so it's not too bad. And there's been many, many games where the winner has been decided by two or less points. So the blue HK is rolling up. Gonna have a shot at Gideon because he's a vital part to most Rebellion lists. And I rolled the wrong dice. I was thinking, hang on, HK should be able to reach this far. I rolled 2 yellows and a blue, not 2 blues and a yellow. So, pump some dice into Gideon. I guess now that Fenn's are gone, Gideon really makes Fenn such a pain to deal with. Like, I'm just going to try a long pop shot at Gideon here with, I think it was 9 squares away. So, and with HK she can do that. I guess that's a big strength, and actually kill Gideon. That is a really, really big strength of the HKs. They got crap health, terrible speed. They've got roll a black die, but that range and damage, that range they can do on their guns is just ridiculously good. So Gideon down. That was the end of the round. Gideon down. That stops. I guess that half stops the focus. Dealing that rebels can do. C-3PO is just as. I guess he's not as good as Gideon, but put C-3PO just in the middle of a bunch of guys and just give him that surge block. It's just so powerful. So I have an issue this turn. HK rolls up, takes a shot at the trooper. He dodges it, but because the HK can force him to reroll and do 2 damage to him. Next one does the same. I'll keep that 0. And kills that trooper. There's big discussion on whether rebel troopers or Imperial troopers are better. I guess it depends. I think it really depends on the synergy of the list. I think of rebel troopers being able to focus and move first turn. So first turn, every trooper's got to focus. So for turn 2, they can really do a lot more damage. But saying that, they only roll a blue and a yellow, and they haven't got any plus damage. They only got pierce and accuracy on their for their surges, but they do get +2 accuracy, +1 damage when they stay still. But unfortunately, when you turn 2, you really have to be moving in to engage, unless they have a really aggressive list like Wookiees or Tuskens or Bantha riders like this, that they can just sit back and just shoot. But most, especially playing opposite Stormtrooper builds, they can be quite defensive. Like when I play Stormtrooper builds, or Trooper builds in general, I think they're mainly designed for defense, because you can just sit back in a corner and just shoot, and just shoot anything away, and then reinforce when you're done. So next HK is having a shot at another trooper of the same squad. couple points of damage. 3PO focusing Leia. I really do like Leia. Her ability, her abilities are excellent, especially the recycling the command cards. I would like to see. I did play Leia with Echo Base Troopers list, so Leia with 2 squads of Echo Base Troopers. But you can't really reinforce, or elite Echo Base Troopers anyway, you can't really reinforce them. And that's where the main strength is of most trooper builds, is the reinforce. They do have 8 health though, 8 health, and they have can't you stop 1 pierce, so you can negate a pierce by 1, and they don't suffer moving through difficult terrain, so they do have a lot of benefits, but being only 2 models in a squad, and I guess of course you can when you're 3 spaces away you can swap the blue die for a red die, which countless times I've been 2 spaces away and rolled no accuracy, no surges with the green and the red. So Leia walks up, probably going to have a pot shot. He's at one of the HKs just to completely kill him. Killing that full squad of HKs. So I'm just sort of counting my moves out. I've Crush in my hand, so I know that. So I move once and I move twice. I know that I can crush one thing. But the way the order Greg moved his guys, that was very clever because that pushed Leia. Basically, closest spot was 2 spaces away any direction, so that pushed her behind 3PO. And if I crushed Leia, I couldn't shoot at her because I had Frosty in my hand as well. So I thought I would get rid of 3PO so I can have a shot at Leia. In hindsight, I probably should have just crushed Leia and maybe just shot 3PO. But you can't. In hindsight, I probably shouldn't have rushed the Bantha that far forward. So playing Frosty. I think Frosty's an excellent card. I know a lot of people don't like using it, especially because Bantha riders aren't as frequent as they once were. But if you're running Beasts, it's an excellent card. Basically gives you an extra free shot at the end of the turn. And for this kind of list, it's basically a third Judlin Terror. So rolls a bunch of damage. And does 5 hits, or 4 hits. So players reinforce, of course. So that squad of troopers is back up to full. I guess that is one of the best strengths about the Stormtrooper troopers is that when one dies, someone gets to focus. And with reinforce, sometimes it doesn't really matter if one dies, you just reinforce it. I've had games where you just rush troopers forward to kill a couple, maybe do a couple damage, and then just reinforce them again. Alright, so Greg has the first turn here, just shooting all Leia's dice, but rolled absolutely terribly here. Just recovered a few health, and he didn't want to cycle anything from these discarded pile into his deck. Slade just moves back. He's just trying to figure out where he could go, whether Bantha can't reach Leia and step on her, then do an attack. Because Leia, she's got 8 health, but she only rolls a white dice, so very unpredictable what she's gonna roll. But I suppose she does the built-in surge block. So HK just moving up, just trying to whittle down these stormtroopers. Because one has only have 1 health left, and one has I think 2 health left. But unfortunately, there's another trooper blocking, and that's for you. It's for you. There's a HK, so I roll absolutely terribly, so I don't do really any damage. And then just moves back. Hindsight, I probably shouldn't have moved that HK out in the open there. Bantha's pretty. I think Bantha's taking about 8 damage. I think at the moment. and yeah, the HK, they drop very, very fast. So I probably should have just focused on those the 2 other troopers. Roll 2 blocks and just removes him, no problem. Getting a ton of damage there. PS2 didn't move, so you get +1 damage and just wipe that HK off the face of the board. This is the mission here to carry the tokens. You get 2 VP at the end of each round for each one you carry. So Greg currently has 2 tokens he's carrying, so he's been scoring 2 points a turn, or 4 points a turn, and 3PO's got 1 for me, so I've only been scoring 2 points a turn. This mission isn't really good for this kind of build, the 2 HKs, 2 Banthas. There's not enough models to carry all these tokens. Nothing's really... If you take a model out to grab one of those, it just puts it out of the battle, and this list you need all 4 HKs doing damage, you need the 2 Banthas causing a muck in the middle. So it's not really a good mission for this list. So Bantha moves, pushes a bunch of stuff, and does a bunch of damage to everyone. And I'm just deciding which one I should shoot at, just to try and get a definite kill with that guy only on, I think he only had 1 health left, or... So there was a block, a surge block. And I actually ended up shooting Leia. And that was the end of the round. This game moved quite quickly because Greg only had I think 6 activations. I only had 6. So, and 2 of mine are big creatures. So, and Greg hasn't moved much of his guys. So it's been really quite a quick game, this one. I think we're deciding who had the initiative. I think that's why the coins are really useful for initiative. I really should just grab one of my Armada coins and use it for Imperial Assault. Because you don't really use you never use a coin in Armada. I've never had a game where we've both had the same amount of points. We had to flip. I've never had that, so I think coins in Armada are just useless. But in Imperial Assault, they're quite useful. In X-Wing, I guess initiative is determined quite often. But you don't flip that coin anywhere near your models because those things weigh a ton, and they'll break anything it gets anywhere near. So Leia's shooting into that Bantha and finishes it off. She didn't have 8. Must have had. I think Greg rolled 7 hits there, so absolutely just butchered that Bantha. And that was Greg just telling me about his terrible hand. Because I had 2 pummels in my hand, and I realised when I was playing that I've got nothing with melee, so pummels is useless in this build. So that's what happens when you try to build command decks on the fly, just grabbing random cards, you're not paying attention. And Greg had a bunch of things that he couldn't... A bunch of things for Gideon, which Gideon died very early on, so... really put a hurting on him. So, that was Gideon taking a shot. I thought, I think it was Gideon. Took a shot and pecked off the trooper and just ran away. It's probably the first time I've ever shot with Gideon in a very, very long time. He doesn't shoot that often. I always have to double check what he actually rolls because he is very, very much... He's probably the definition of a support character. Oh, and the C-3PO just dodged there from that rebel trooper. The best thing about 3PO is that cower roll. He gets to reroll his defense when standing next to someone, and he gives someone a surge block when he's standing next to him. So for 2 points, I think 3PO is just so useful. So Focus HK moves up, tries and just going to make sure that guy dies, and definitely does. And 3PO, fortunately 3PO can attack, but Skew's getting in focus and just sits next to him. At this point, I can't really kill anything. Greg can kill the HK. Oh, I can kill that trooper there, but Greg can kill the HK and get some points. I think at the moment, and he just reinforces it, so it makes it 10 times harder. At the moment, he's on 36, and I was on... I think I was on 24. And I thought, well, here's a chance to get a bunch of points killing Leia. And she rolls 1 dodge, or 1 block. And she gets a built-in surge block. But all the pierce and +1 just kills her. That gives me 8 points. So it sort of brings me a tad closer to what Greg's on. But now those troopers can just kill, and I play Celebration as well. So I think I was only 2 or 4 points behind Greg at this stage, but he was just picking up that token. He's going to win the game now. The only way I can do it is to try and take one of his tokens, control, and so he doesn't control it anymore, or kill a unit. But with Gideon the only one to activate, he can't kill 2 troopers. Wish he could, but he just can't. I'm just working out here. I'm just thinking, I can't really do nothing about this. So I thought, might as well move Gideon up. He's got focus. I might as well have a shot at something. And he dodges it. A very good last roll for defense there. And of course, this Lonely HK just takes 1 damage and element of surprise. A very, very useful card, and he only does 1 damage. He rolled absolutely terribly. And that was the game there. End of the round, Greg got 6 VP and won the game by a couple of points. So that was a very, very close game. Thank you all for watching, and I will catch you in the next one. Stay tuned for more Imperial Assault battle reports. Until then, see ya.